What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show where we talk about games, the ones we love, the ones we hate, and everything in between. I'm one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined across the power of the internet by my co-host, Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine morning?
I'm doing mostly fine. The reason we're recording virtually again today is I just got back from some traveling. It was my first time flying since the Rona came around.
Yep.
And I'm just a little paranoid because, like, you're hearing a lot about breakthrough cases right now. And when I got back into town last night, I was like, I feel a little stuffy.
Uh-oh.
Feel a little scratch in the back of the throat. So
Oh, no.
just in case, I don't want to kill Jerrett off, and then I would have to learn how to use Photoshop and Light Studio. What?
Premiere.
That's what I
After
said.
Effects.
Premiere, After Effects. I would have to learn how to use those, and then I would have to take care of Fender and Birdie. I'm not cut out for that kind of life.
That's a full-time
So-
job right there.
As a full-time job, so I figured I would just stay home, keep everybody safe.
I get
till
it.
I
I
can
get it.
tested.
I wasn't going to call you out. I was just going to, just gloss right over that, you were
Oh,
feeling
no.
a little sickly. But no, it's probably honestly good. I was out, gone in Albuquerque too. Also my first time flying for since the Rona. So, we both went to different places. Maybe it is good to have ourselves be apart for a week, especially since now in Austin, we're back in stage 4, almost stage 5 again.
Yeah,
Bullshit,
we're back in
people, get
stage
vaccinated.
4.
Come
I
on.
know. It's like on the one hand, I do actually like wearing the mask in public because as long as it's not boiling lava hot, it gives you a nice sense of anonymity. It's
Yeah.
like, I
Except
don't
in
have to
Austin, it's
brush my
boiling
teeth
hot.
today. Yeah, but it is boiling hot, so
Yeah. makes
whatever.
it not
Please,
fun.
please get vaccinated if you can.
Do it.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Well, along with getting vaccinated and being a lot cooler than you did, you're also a lot cooler than you were if you listen to Team Chat Podcast here
Oh,
on Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Central Time is when those new episodes come out for you to listen to across podcast services around the World Wide Web, as well as watching a video version of each episode over on our YouTube channel. Links for all that are in the description below. You can also find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Join our Discord server where we have a lot of great conversations when we're not here recording the show, talk about games here. And finally, if you'd like to support the show and help make it bigger and better, just like Elise M, Zach S, Mariah S, Susan M, James K, Ben W, Michael B, Future Rascal, Andrew M, Michael S, and Brandon W have done. My God, Mogan, the list is getting so big.
I know. It's getting a
Like
little bit too grande. We're going to have to start cutting some people.
But just like they have done by going over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. And in return, we give you cool perks like getting the episodes early before their general Tuesday release, access to a private channel over on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery, as well as a lot of extra bits of goodness along the way. So huge shout out and thank you to all of them. But also, if you can't do that, that's no big deal. We totally understand. There are a lot of other ways that you can help make the show bigger and better, such as leaving us reviews, subscribing wherever you listen to or watch the show, telling your friends. All that goodness helps get the word of Team Chat Podcast out to the masses. And we are incredibly grateful and thankful for all of our listeners and patrons alike. Heart emojis. The benefit of doing the remote recording is that you can really get the angle of the heart emoji.
Yeah, you can. It's so
Perfect.
much better. There we go.
So much easier.
That's
So-
the thumbnail.
There it is. We got it there. But before we jump into the main topic of the day, let's get a little bit of news and what's coming out soon in our moment with Mogan.
All right. Unfortunately, we do have to play a little bit of catch up. Now, I'm not
Okay.
going to go through everything that released the last
Oh
couple
yeah,
of
we
weeks.
forgot it.
because-
We missed an episode last
Yeah,
week.
we missed an
because
episode. and
Both
the
of
one
our travel
before
schedules.
That, we were doing it live. We did our live show.
That's right.
So
that's right.
we've missed 2 weeks of releases. So I'm going to just
Sorry,
try
everybody.
to blaze through these as quickly as I can. And I'm only going to be hitting the ones that I personally think are worth it. So for example, Space Jam: A Legacy, you're never going to know what consoles that's for because we're not going to talk about it. But in case you missed it, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD Remake is now available for Nintendo Switch. So is Chris Tales. Christ Tales? Cree Tales? I don't know how you pronounce it. But that's available for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia, and PC. So is Pokemon Unite. If you missed this one, Pokemon Unite is out now for the Nintendo Switch. It was free on July 1st. It is a completely free-to-play game, but it is, of course, microtransactioned out the wazoo. So if you're looking for a Pokemon MOBA, which is what it is, give it a shot, but be prepared to fork over some cash if you want to be able to actually get anywhere. Contra Returns is out now for iOS and Android. Microsoft Flight Simulator is out now for Xbox Series X and S. Neo, The World Ends With You is out for PlayStation 4 and Switch. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This is actually a game that I'm kind of excited about. I would like to play it at some point. Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is essentially a prequel game, that covers the ancestry behind Phoenix Wright as a character from the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series. That's out
Okay.
now for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Near Reincarnation. It's actually been a fairly good month for mobile devices. Near Reincarnation is out now for iOS and Android. The Forgotten City is out for PS4, Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Xbox One, and PC. And another game that I'm actually really jazzed about, the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series, is out now for
Nice.
PC, iOS, and Android. And then finally, catching us up to this week. So as of yesterday, Grime is out for Stadia and PC. Whether or not this has any relation to singer slash DJ Grime, unknown. I don't think it is, but you never know. Wait, is her name Grimes?
Grimes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Elon Musk's yeah.
Just
Elon
kidding.
Musk's girlfriend. Yeah.
Well,
Grimes.
anyways, Grimes, no relation to Grime for Stadia and PC out
This is
now.
just a sequel to Rhyme.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, as of this episode's air date on August 3rd, finally catching up to the present, we have Lemnis Gate for PS5, Xbox Series XS, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. The Ramp is out now for PC. Dungeon Defenders Awakened comes out tomorrow on August 4th for the Switch. So does another one that it's a weirdly good time for mobile devices. My Time at Portia, a fairly popular kind of life slash farming sim game for previously, I think, for Switch and Steam. I'm
Mhm.
not sure if it was ever out for PlayStation and Xbox, but My Time at Portia is finally being ported. Bad joke, sorry. It's finally being ported to iOS and Android. So that's an exciting time.
Nice.
The Falconeer is coming out on the 5th for PS5, PS4, and Switch. Oh, wait, is this the one that I was excited? Wait, is this the right game? Yes, I'm so excited about this. I hope this is true. Is this accurate?
I don't know.
I'll have to check my Kickstarter updates because a game that
Oh.
I joined the Kickstarter for, Black Book, is possibly coming out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC as of August 10th. I hope
Nice.
that is true. I will double check the dates on that. I know I've been getting some backer rewards updates about it. The gist is that Black Book is kind of like a card-based Russian folklore horror game where
Oh.
you're playing as a girl, and I think you have a book of like demons or spells, and you're going through what is Russian folklore to like defeat evil creatures. It looked awesome. And I was like, hell yes, I want to back that. So I signed on for the Kickstarter for this possibly over a year ago. I don't remember when I signed on, but huzzah, it's finally coming out. How exciting!
Nice.
All right, and anyways, a bunch of other games also come out later this month, but we will get to those in the future. That's it for now. Thank God. Whew.
Quite the list. Quite the list.
I'm tired.
When we got to play catch up like that. I forgot it had been 2 weeks. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
Since
so
we had that
whoopsie
new
doodles.
whoopsie doodles. We had that Team Chat Plays playing more of that Guacamelee 2. Then we had to take a break last week, and then here we are. But other than recent releases and stuff coming out soon, there has been a lot of news coming out of the games industry within the last week, 2 weeks. That has not been so great. And in
Yeah,
fact, it has
most
been
of it bad.
yes,
Most
it's
of
been
the
just been
news has
downright terrible.
bad.
It
Oh,
has not been good
gosh.
at all. Oh, hey, Kitty.
Hey, kitty. Good kitty.
But obviously, what we're referring to is all of the reports of the lawsuit and what has been happening lately coming out of Activision Blizzard.
Oh my gosh.
There have been plenty of articles, there have been plenty of resources out there for you to be able to go out and see what has been happening and what's been taking place. And so we're not going to recount and do a full recap of it. We just wanted to get on and just say that it's absolutely fucking disgusting.
I mean, and we will actually say so. As far as what's going on, Activision Blizzard's being sued out the wazoo for an astonishing pattern of sexual harassment,
Yes.
discrimination against women, women of color, people of color. So they are just, I mean, if you read the reports, it's awful.
And
It's
that's what I
some
meant.
of the
Yeah,
worst stuff I've seen in a while, which is
right.
saying something.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, so I should have like given. Thank you for
I
giving the
mean,
descriptor, the brief summary of what's happening. I
yeah,
just wasn't going to
it's
be like,
awful.
and then this
Okay,
happened, and
are
then
they
this happened, and then
killing
this happened.
lemurs? What are they doing? They're not
Yeah,
killing lemurs.
no,
They
no,
are,
not yet.
however,
Maybe
yeah. Oh God, kitty cats.
protect the lemurs,
Yeah, protect
but
the lemurs from Blizzard specifically, but the point is it's bad. So
it's very bad.
if you wanna go research it, you can, and, maybe think about possibly donating to a few causes that do help women in tech and women of color in tech because they obviously, could use your support.
Yes, because I mean, it's one of those things. It's like obviously all of the stories and all of the accounts of things that have come out of harassment, sexual harassment, discrimination that have come out of the gaming industry within the last year, year and a half have all been terrible. But it's just like this one came along and just said, "Hey, you thought the bar was low? Let me just drop that a few more 100 feet for you." You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
just the one. It's all just it just can't describe how like fucked up it is,
it
and
is
just
bad.
just how it just seems so prevalent. And it's just a sign that like we can't be sitting here talking about how great games are and how much fun we have playing them if we don't call out the fucking bullshit, because they can't keep getting away with it. This cannot be how gaming industry or any industry can continue to function in this day and age. And it's just
Yeah,
appalling and it's sickening, and just yeah, fix your shit,
yeah.
everybody.
And
Be-
obviously, we're not gonna we don't have time to go into it right now, but
no,
their like corporate response to the lawsuit.
terrible.
Oh my god, it's like, are you I've
Like
never
even if those
I
people
won't
who
say that
responded, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I
Sorry,
won't
sorry,
say
sorry.
that I've never read something so tone deaf, but good lord, read the room, Blizzard.
For that response in itself, those people should be like, let go. Like,
God,
are you
yeah, they
kidding me?
should be. It's like, who on your corporate PR team signed off on this? This is
Yeah.
horrendous.
And then
Oh
it's
boy.
like, and then Bobby Kotick coming out later and being like, our responses were tone deaf. You think?
Yeah, duh.
Like, oh God. It
Oh
was
boy.
just, it's just one of those days. It's just one of those things where you're just like, what the hell are we even doing here?
Yeah,
And that just, it's just, it's sad. It's appalling to see it, and it needs to change.
yeah.
So,
Uh, in slightly backtracking news, just to make sure that I catch it before we move on to the next news piece, I am looking at my Kickstarter backer rewards.
oh
Black
yeah,
Book is coming out on August 10th.
nice.
Incredible. So
That's
just
awesome.
it's an RPG rooted in Slavic mythology,
That sounds
and
pretty
it's
cool.
coming out on August 10th, which is the 222nd day of the year, which that's got to be lucky, right? That's got to mean
Yeah,
something. I don't know
that
what it
has to be.
means, but it's got to mean something.
Did they plan it? Is it some secret meaning in the game? Who
Yeah, I don't
knows? You'll
know.
have to find out and tell us.
Most impressively of all, it is actually this was one of the backer rewards, I think, if they reached a certain milestone. The game
Mhm.
is actually going to contain both full English and Russian voiceovers, which is really nice.
Wow,
I'm
that's
excited about
cool.
that. So, anyways, I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I know you'll have to let us know how it is.
Yeah, I'll do a review.
But speaking of some other stuff that's been coming out, there was last week. I missed this totally. I completely didn't even know it was happening until after it had happened. But Annapurna Interactive had a showcase of new games and
Yes.
stuff. And I know you watched through this,
I
correct?
did because Jared and I have actually played quite a few Annapurna Interactive games. So Annapurna is the publisher. So
Mhm.
they are very well known for partnering with a lot of indie creators and indie studios to put out some of the more interesting games
Oh
that
yeah,
I can think of that we've played in the past. Notably, What Remains of Edith Finch, Gone
great game.
Home, The Unfinished Swan, which is a game that you played.
For a little bit, I
So
dabbled in it.
I dabbled in
it
it.
didn't keep my attention for super long, but I have played a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, they also did God, just the list goes on and on. Most recently for the PS5, it was one of the free PS Plus games for PS5 just a couple of months ago, Maquette. They've
Mhm.
also got who knows what else. The list is literally very long.
You say you played it, but now I'm going completely blank on what I've actually played other than Edith
The
Finch.
Pathless, of course. So the
Oh,
Pathless,
nice.
If
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Found,
yeah.
Kentucky Route Zero TV edition, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Journey. That's the one that I was trying to think of that I was like,
There we
I know
go.
I'm missing a big one. And very notably, a game that I think more people would be familiar with, Outer Wilds. So Annapurna Interactive has just been quietly pumping out for years some really interesting, good quality games. So I was really excited to see that they were doing their first ever showcase, and I really wanted to see what was coming up. Some of it had already been talked about previously, and a couple of things were kind of newer reveals. Notably, one of the things that's coming soon is an expansion for Outer Wilds. So if you love Outer Wilds and you want more of that game, good good job. It's coming.
It's there. It's
it's
got
it's
you got it.
it is on the way. They also showed more about a game that we know is two games that we already knew were coming, but that I'm interested in both of them. Stray, the game where you're kidding. Okay, speaking.
What timing?
Look at those little strays back there, you bad little kitties. You better not bite that couch. Don't do it, kitty.
He's got a claw.
Stray. Yeah, that was crazy timing. Stray is coming out soon-ish. I forgot if they mentioned a release date, but it looks awesome. You play as a little kitty cat in like a cybernetic future world, and the kitty wears a little backpack. I don't know what the point is. I just want to be a cute little kitty.
It's coming to you from Annapurna.
Anna.
Purna.
Very excited for that. Almost as excited. Actually, I would probably even say I'm more excited about Solar Ash. Obviously, we
This one
talked
looks
about
cool.
this a little bit when they did a showcase about it at E3, I think.
Mhm.
Solar Ash just looks really interesting. It looks like it's very based in movement and flow and the environment, which I love all of those things. So jazzed about Solar Ash. I love the art direction, the kind of polygonal, blocky, in your face art design. I love all of that. Other ones that were newly teased, A Memoir Blue, which watching the trailer, I was like, that game looks like it was scientifically designed to make you cry. So I may or may not be playing that one. It looks sad. Storyteller was also on the list, and another one that I wasn't sure I was going to think was interesting,
Mhm.
but now that I've seen some of the gameplay, I am on board. Neon White. So Neon White, it has this really interesting art style to the characters. It's very anime. Actually, I saw the characters like in the promotional designs, and I was like, "Is this Bleach? Are they just quietly remaking Bleach the anime?" They're not. That was obviously not even remotely correct, but it's again another very strongly movement-based game to the extent that I would liken it to Mirror's Edge. I don't know how
Mm.
many people here still remember Mirror's Edge, but when the PS3 came out?
Yes,
Uh,
PS3.
God, that was so long ago.
I know.
Oh no.
Like
Well,
14 something years ago.
Jesus, you're right. Well, when the PS3 came out, Mirror's Edge was one of those first games to kind of come out along with the console that had a lot of hype behind it
Mhm.
because it was this first person parkour style game. So even though it was in first person, you were running at top speed, traversing all of these buildings in the city. It was awesome. It was fast paced. Neon White gives a very Mirror's vibe edge, just with a lot more combat involved because you do actually have cards that you use
Mhm.
to traverse the levels, and your cards can either be used as weapons, you can use them like guns almost, or you can cash in a card like on the fly to generate it into a special move instead. So it looks like this really interesting balance of figuring out, do I want to prioritize movement or do I want to prioritize combat, getting through these enemies. And it's very much being billed as a game made for speedrunners. Like that's
Mhm.
the whole thing. Get through the levels as fast as you possibly can, and that's really the goal. So I'm not a speedrunner, but it does look like a really fun game. So Neon White, I'm here for it. I can't wait for that one. I really want to try it.
Nice.
And that is everything from the Annapurna Interactive that I personally thought was interesting.
Very cool, very cool. And so the last bit of news, it's a
We
little
s-
bit of a downer, ladies and gentlemen.
I
But well,
called it.
I mean, everybody was kind of
Everybody
calling
did,
it.
yeah.
Everybody was like, "This is gonna happen. There's no way." I knew it in my heart of hearts that it was gonna get delayed. But yes, according to a Bloomberg report by Jason Schreier, Horizon Forbidden West has been delayed to 2022, first quarter 2022. But still, it's delayed, which obviously sucks that it won't come out this year. Sucks I won't get my hands on it this year. But obviously, as we've said before, delays make a game better. So keep making that game better, Gorilla. I still have full belief in you, and am just still jazzed as ever and excited to get to play
I
more
still
of
have
Aloy's
full
story.
hit points in Horizon Forbidden West.
So it'll be coming soon. Who knows when, but we'll get it eventually.
Well,
Still just sad to see it. Still just a dagger to the heart.
God, I just really how fun. Oh, I wish they were doing this. I wish more studios would do this. I wish that this were actually a joke and that
Uh-huh.
it's not been delayed. And then on the
God,
original release date, they were just going to drop it and just like do a little announcement and be like, oh, we were just kidding. It's actually out right now.
that'd be
I
amazing.
feel like that would be such a fun PR stunt. And I
Right?
feel like it would that would be fun. Come
Just a
on.
bamboozle. Full
Yeah,
on
just
bamboozle.
a full bamboozle.
I'd be down for that. I would absolutely be down for that because, like, sure, people do the drops, but they of just like the surprise drop, like, hey, here's this cool game, and oh, by the way, it's available now. But yeah, doing a full on, no, it's canceled. It's not, or it's delayed. It's not coming until next year. But then, like, psych, it's out today.
Kidding, suckers, you fell for it. Got them.
That'd be so fun. That would be really fun. But moving on to the main topic of the day, Mogan and I have completed Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and it is time for a review.
I saw that. I saw your Twitter last night that you actually your tweet last night that you actually finished it, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Whoa!
I did it.
I wasn't
did it
expecting. I mean,
quickly.
I had faith in you, but I was also like, it took him 20 years to finish Valhalla.
Well, to be fair, Valhalla was like 120, 105 hour game for me. Ratchet and Clank, I'm actually not sure how many, but it's like it's like a 10 to 12 hour one. It's not
Gotcha.
it's not near as huge and massive and expansive as Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I finished playing the game, and so now I'm here to give my full review of it. And I don't really think it's going to be that long reviews because also it's a very new game, came out at the end of June, so I'm not going to go and like be spoiling all the story beats for everybody and stuff like that because it is just very new. So mostly just talking about the stuff I liked, what I didn't like. And so let's dig in. So Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It was developed by Insomniac Games. It's a third-person shooter platformer. And let me just say, I'm just going to go ahead and give a little bit of spoiler alert here. It's amazing. Like,
Gosh, I can't wait to hear about it. I'm really excited.
it's just so good.
This is one of the few games. This and Returnal are like the two games that I actually want a PlayStation 5 to be able to play because I'm
Right.
like, yeah, they do look pretty freaking sweet, bro.
Well, I mean, next time when you're over your sniffles and your little scratchy throat, come over. You got to like play a couple levels and just try it out because it's the perfect showcase again of like what the PS5's power brings to the table in terms of what gaming is going to look like on consoles. It has so much good stuff going for it. But first, in case you don't know what this game's about, Ratchet & Clank is obviously a long-running series from Insomniac Games, and this is the latest entry. So a quick little story synopsis is actor Dr. Nefarious, who's like the long-running villain of the series, attempts to steal the Dimensionator. It goes wrong. And in doing so, he unleashes a whole just destruction and mayhem across the many dimensions because this Dimensionator is a device that also allows you to travel in between dimensions, interplanetary, just like you pop it, you shoot it, opens up a portal, you jump through, you're in the new place. Well, that starts going wrong and it causes all this mayhem, like rifts from all over, people from other dimensions, creatures from other dimensions are being pulled in everywhere. It's just creating chaos. And what this does is this opens up the way for the Nefarious of another dimension, Emperor Nefarious, who's like higher up on the bad chain than
shit.
Dr. Nefarious,
Oh, God.
takes this as his opportunity to try to conquer all of the dimensions. And so you, as Ratchet, with your trusty sidekick Clank, have to stop him. And along the way, you meet a lot of fun cast of characters and their other dimensional counterparts, along with a new mysterious Lombax, Rivet.
Oh, boy.
So it was just a good old time.
What do you think the typical Doctor to Emperor pipeline is like? Like what
Like how many
steps do you think?
stages are in between?
Yeah, like what else has to happen before you get to Emperor from Doctor?
Well, I feel
Because,
like Doctor, that's just
we've
kind of like
got-
the mad scientist reach, you know
well,
what I
we've
mean?
got Dr. Bro Mogan in our community.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
true.
wondering like how can we support him to get
I
into
think he's
Emperor?
got a good maybe like, I don't know, maybe like 4 other steps in between because I feel like you got Doctor. Then maybe you want to start small. You want to build up like your first base of operations. So maybe you become Mayor Nefarious. then you have like control over a city. Then maybe let's say you jump up to Governor Nefarious. Then maybe King. Then we can jump to Emperor. So yeah, I'm thinking like there's a 4 steps there that he needs to cover before so he can achieve his full plans of global domination in his field. So
Yeah, I think
there you
think
go,
that's
Dr. Bro
reasonable.
Mogan.
Yeah, get on
There's
it.
your path. There's your path for you. So basically, like I said, this is a third person action adventure platformer, and what Ratchet and Clank is known for is like having a incredibly fun combat system. Not to mention it's normal just platforming, and you do that through like a vast array of weapons. You have all this gear at your disposal. There are different parts where like you'll play as Clank, because normally Clank is just like strapped to Ratchet's back, but then like he can help out with like like flying, like a gliding ability. He has like propellers, stuff like that. But there are also various stages in the game and in past games where you get to play as like Clank by himself. And this one throws in the added benefit of you not only get to play as Ratchet and Clank, you also get to play as the new Lombax, Rivet, at a few points in the game as well. It actually switches off like mission to mission, which one you're getting to play as. So you get to cover a lot of different territory, get to meet a lot of different characters. And I gotta say, Rivet is fantastic. She's an amazing, fun character. Jennifer Hale does an amazing job voicing her. And it's just a really fun. I will say, my exposure and my knowledge of Ratchet and Clank isn't that deep. I've actually only played the remake of the original game that came out in 2016. So I've only played 2 games in the series. But based off of just both of these two, like it's so much fun. There's so much stuff to do in it because it's one of those things. You play it and the smile never leaves your face. You're just having a blast because it's so smooth. It's so action packed. There's never like the dull moments. You come across the boss fight. The enemies are fun to fight because they're like everything's kind of like goofy and lighthearted throughout the whole thing. Even though you're fighting like these bad guys and bosses who are like these robots, but they're kind of like it's kind of like how the battle droids and stuff in like the Clone Wars or Star Wars are. They're like just kind of like dumb, like
They're
Roger
just
Roger
little
kind of thing.
Goofuses, and you don't feel bad about killing them.
No, you don't, and all this, and so there's just you'll be running around. You'll be jumping around. You can ride these like rails and everything, and like have these really fun set pieces as you're like grinding around throughout the levels and the maps. You're using in this one, you have the ability to. And one of the defining things that like really sets this up, like I was saying, is like one of the showcases of what the PS5 can do, is that you will come across rifts that you can activate because you gain one of the new pieces of gear that you have is called the Omni Glove, and that allows you to like tether onto a rift and like pull it towards you, so you immediately close the distance in between you and that rift. And just how we'd seen it in the trailers and we'd seen it in gameplay demos of them showing off this ability, but I honestly didn't know how cool that would feel until you actually get to do it. It's just something about how seamlessly it just zips and pulls you forward and how that's visually represented. And you're suddenly like opened up into this new area and how seamlessly it does it because it can render and process that happening so fast on the PS5. It's just like, my God, it was just so many times throughout this. I had to just kind of honestly like sit back and marvel and be like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening, because there would be times when there are so many enemies flying around. I'm jumping in between rifts. I'm fighting enemies. There are things getting blown up. There are explosions, debris, bolts that you collect. That's kind of like the currency. Every time you destroy a box or an enemy, like a whole bunch of bolts come out. And so those are flying all over the place. There's so much happening, but not once did it lag. Not once did it stutter. And it's just this seamless experience all the way through.
That is
It was
truly incredible. And that's something that Nintendo could stand to learn a thing or two about, because every time in Breath of the Wild that you go into the Forbidden Woods or Forbidden Forest, I think it's Forbidden Woods. People are going to be so mad if I can't. Is it the
Are you even a fan?
Am I even a fan? It's where the tree lives and the sword is. I played the game, I swear. But every time you go in there, there's so much happening. God, it lags out. You drop frames like you wouldn't believe.
Oh no!
And so to hear like especially with the bolts, like with all the little nuts and bolts that, I've played Ratchet and Clank many years ago in the past.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're everywhere. And when they're exploding out in every direction, it's just all of those teeny tiny little renders take just a little bit more processing power. And if you don't have enough, you're gonna have a bad time. So it's really nice to hear that it runs so smoothly.
And I ran it too on the performance mode. So like it was running at 60 frames.
Ooh,
it was clean.
Man,
it was so clean.
Something. Here's an idea, Jerrett.
What? Okay,
here's
hit me
an
with
idea. Maybe for fun, next time we do a Team Chat Plays, I can play a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, riff
Oh,
apart.
we absolutely should do that.
Yeah, I think that would be
Yes,
fun.
we
And
need
then
to
you
do
can
that.
you can backseat game and you can be like, you're not doing it right. Gosh.
Well, and now since I finished it, I have the new the challenge mode, which allows you to like replay the story with all the weapons and everything already unlocked and stuff like that.
Ooh, that
So
would be
we can pick
fun.
and choose how you want to, how you'd want to play it. But yeah, we should definitely do that because it would be a fun one
Also,
to stream for sure.
that's actually a good point because one of our team chat rewards on our Twitch, like for channel rewards, is that you
Mhm.
can pick our loadout. So if we
Ooh,
already have
yeah.
all the weapons unlocked, that would be even better. Yeah.
And
All
there
right,
are
we're
so
just
many weapons and stuff too. Like that was just another one of the pros. And obviously, like I said, a huge highlight of the series itself is all the different fun weapons you get to use, and they're crazy and zany, and they do a bunch of
oh,
weird
they're
shit.
wild. Yeah.
But this one, like, I don't know, there's like it has the like the radial weapon wheel, and you have like 3 of those. So like that you can like sort
Whoa.
through. So there's like 8 or 10 plus weapons that you get to use. It's so fun. And there are a couple I think that I don't know if I have yet. But
Oh.
it's just one of those things how you can pair those up together because it definitely you can use also when you're Rivet or Ratchet. They have a melee weapon. Ratchet has a wrench,
Of
and
course.
then Rivet has a hammer. And you can use that in melee combat. You can bash people with it. You can actually throw it and it'll return to you like a boomerang kind of thing. But that's not the main form of combat. The main form of combat is you are going to be wanting to use these guns. I'm sure there is like a challenge runner or a
I was
speed runner
about to
person
say
who
wrench-only
only
run.
does wrench only. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that. But it's still being able to switch, and you can like hotkey some of the weapons to your directional pad for like your favorite ones that you're always going to come down to, or you can just hold triangle, and that will pause the game in time, so you can choose your new weapon, swap it out, and go nuts. But you got like the shotgun, like a shotgun type weapon. You got a blast pistol, which then as you upgrade starts shooting out like multiple, like a 3 spread shot. You've got this one called, my favorite weapon was I wrote down the name so I get it right. Topiary Sprinkler. What do you think the Topiary Sprinkler does?
Well, I know that a topiary is a particular type of sculpted hedge. So a topiary sprinkler, I would assume that it is a water gun that when it hits an enemy, it turns them into a topiary.
Exactly right.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, except well, it's actually more like it's like a grenade you throw, and then like the sprinkler pops out of the ground, and then just like shoots a
Okay.
spray of water in a big ring, and
I
anything it touches, yeah, it
see.
freezes them into like a topiary, a sculpted bush of
Man,
what
it's a
that
good
character is.
it's a good thing I read and I know
You
what
know
topiary
words, you know what stuff means.
I know words.
And so that was perfect because it's like a great area of control weapon where basically you drop it down in the middle, it shoots around, freezes a whole bunch of enemies that are around you, and then lets you just go nuts and like blast them with shotgun up close and get the big weapons. There's this other one that was probably my second favorite gun called the Negatron Collider, which it would have to
Ooh.
charge up, but it then just shoots this huge beam of energy that was just like felt so powerful to use as like it felt like it should have like blown Ratchet or Rivet back as it's using it, but it just is you feel the like the heft of it and the weight of the beam as it shoots out. Because another huge selling point of this is how the DualSense, the controller,
The
is
haptic
integrated.
feedback?
The haptic feedback and vibrations are integrated into this
Oh.
game, unlike anything else I've ever played. And it's not just when you're playing the game and you're shooting your weapons and all that. Even in like cutscenes and cinematics, if a character like touches something or like a robot's like crawling over a surface, you feel those little vibrations in your controller, and it just fully immerses you more into it than any other platformer by far that I've ever played. And
Yeah.
the weapons too have different modes based on how you use the triggers. For example, you can like half pull back the left trigger, and that's normally like the more not full ADS but kind of aim down sight view where it's a little bit more precise. You can like on some weapons, if you pull the trigger only halfway, it does like there's one like a sniper rifle. I'm trying not to talk too many about all the weapons because I don't want to like blow everything that there is for people who are looking to play
I
this.
just had the
But
quick thought that like if you had just said the term ADS, I would have been like, ads. I've heard about those on YouTube.
I know
I
what
can
that
skip
is.
those. If you hadn't specified that it was aim down sights,
sorry.
I play first person shooters and I've never heard the term
Oh.
ADS before. Then again, I'm also not typically picking up the sniper rifle. I'm out there with the pistols, guns blazing.
Just going crazy.
Just
I
going
started
crazy.
blasting.
Yeah, I
But,
just started blasting.
There's this one that's kind of a sniper rifle. And so, for example, if you pull halfway on the left trigger, it will aim down the sight. If you pull all the way on the trigger, it will do a time slow. So you can do like a bullet time kind of thing. And
Fun.
then and then some weapons, if you hold down the right trigger like halfway, it'll like auto lock, and then you can pull it back all the way to fire it. And so like manipulating all the different weapon types through the triggers and the haptics just felt so good. And one of my favorite things of this game, I mentioned like grinding around on the rails, jumping from platform to platform. There's some wall running and stuff like going on in there too. But one of the things that this game added that made this feel so good is there are these rocket boots. And I'm pretty sure these are new to this game. I could be wrong and they were in previous games as well. But there's like a point in the game where it like makes a point to say like, hey, you got rocket boots now. So but what that does is it's exactly what it sounds like. It basically allows you to speed along the ground without using a vehicle or whatever, but you have to charge it up and like boost and accelerate yourself. And how you do that is you hold R1 to activate the boots. Then you use the left trigger to speed up and accelerate. And you have to usually hit it like 3 times. It's like a boom, boom, boom. Then you're at full speed. But then you combine the visuals of that, which as you accelerate, like you got that like blurring effect as you're speeding up and going. But then with the sound effects of like the of the afterburner combined with the haptic feedback you're getting as you're like the resistance as you pull the trigger till it boosts, it's like it just feels so good. And just blazing around at top speed on your rockets, once you get to the boost and you're using the rocket boots around, you can still attack stuff, you can still hit stuff. So you can imagine like in some boss fights, especially or just fights in general with a lot of enemies, you can just be blasting and rolling circles around all these fools, and it just feels so good because there is a little bit of an auto aim to an extent. Like if you're kind of like when you're especially going at full speed and moving around really fast, and so it just the fluidity of it all. That's just, I know I talk about that with games a lot sometimes, like saying like how smooth it is, how good it feels. But like every time this one just puts that to another level in
And
a
the
sense.
thing is, it is worth mentioning, even if it happens in other games, because it isn't always done well. Some
Yeah.
games never get that rhythm right. And what you've
Mhm.
mentioned with like the boom, boom, boom of like getting to that maximum speed on the boots, I feel like that's something that gives players a lot of like what's the word for it, satisfaction, a lot, like a
Yes.
really satisfying feeling of like, yes, something of note has happened. And
Oh
while
yeah.
you've been mentioning all of this, I've just been sitting here thinking these all would have been great features to have been included in Anthem had
Yes.
it been
Yes.
a PS5 release. That would have been great.
The haptics and the feedback would have been amazing on the
It would have
DualSense
fit
and
in
Anthem.
so well, but
Yeah.
RIP in peace, Anthem.
For sure, because yeah, that one it's dead.
It's
But it just I'm trying to like describe because it's new, it's a newer game, so I don't want people. I don't necessarily want to go into the story beats and all the things that happened there. It is in a sense like your standard. There's the big bad guy, and we're gonna go chase after him and like go through all these different planets, and you're seeing all these different things, trying to like figure out how you can stop him in this Dimensionator gone wild, and obviously you getting to meet Rivet and learn a bit more about her and her motivations and why she's involved in this fight against Emperor Nefarious. And it just is one of those things. Ratchet and Clank 2016 was good. And I was like, man, this is such a great game. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart rolls around. And I was like, holy shit, they made it so much better.
yeah.
And, it also helps because the writing of the game is super good. Like there's so many great quips, great little one-liners, and just little things thrown in about it. Like there's a robot pirate who's like, this is obviously like in space, but he's a pirate that acts like a pirate of old, a buccaneer. Like they're flying around,
Okay.
floating like airships that look like old boats. He's wearing like the typical pirate hat and all this, and they all talk in pirate voices. One of my favorite side character things is this other alien species called Morts.
Morts? I'll have to look
Yeah,
those up.
look up the Mort really quick. And I had actually had a picture pulled up here. I don't know if it's gonna show up super well on my camera. Okay, but
Oh,
see,
these things
that's a
that look
Mort.
like little Wookiees.
Yes. What do you think the Morts sound like? Looking
Well,
at that,
based on their extreme underbite and their jowls, I'm
mhm,
imagining like a gruff Winston Churchill.
you would be incorrect because it is in the best. Their voice is like one of the. This cracked me up every single time I heard it. All the Morts talk in a super Midwestern Minnesota accent.
Oh God.
So like on this screenshot
Oh
here, it
God.
says, "Oh, you're going to leave that one." Wait, what? This is super tall. It says, "Oh, you go on and leave that one to Old Mort." Well, assuming you brought that part I asked for. But so their voice, like that's the line. But in their voice, it's normally, "Oh, you go on and leave that to Old Mort." Well, assuming you got that part I asked for. Like that's
Oh
how
my
they talk.
gosh.
It's so funny.
Incredible.
Every
So
time I heard it,
So it's
I
like the
was
Fargo
dying.
accent.
Yeah, it's the
That's
Fargo accent.
hysterical.
Don't you know? All that
Don't
stuff
you
going.
know?
Don't you know? Okay, then. It was all of that. And I was just like, this is so funny. And this is juxtaposition of that in the like it was the last accent I expected in this like otherworld space adventure
Yeah.
that we're having. It made me laugh so hard. But alongside all of the different platforming, there's the typical fare that you would expect in a platformer of lots of side activities, collectibles, and things to hunt down. There are these things called gold bolts, which are usually like you have to go under and do some puzzle, usually, to be able to collect those, or some hidden path on the level that you have to follow to be able to find them. There are these spy bots that once you collect all of them, give you some kind of new perk or power up weapon, something like that. Obviously, with the more bolts that you collect through killing stuff, that gives you the purchasable things. So you can buy new weapons from Miss Zircon from her shop, which Miss Zircon is great. She's this sassy Southern robot who like has in everything, like talking about all of her weapons that she's gotten, and and what's really fun there is when you go to her shop and you look and preview a new weapon that you can buy. It shows like a little video, shows how the weapon works, but it's narrated by Zircon Jr., who
Aww.
has this like very robotic, high pitched voice, but he's talking about it and he's basically like, "You want a gun that shoots 2 bombs? Well, guess what's better than that? 3 bombs." And he's just like,
Like a used car salesman.
yeah, he's like, "It's gonna rain destruction on your enemies," and just like going nuts. It's
What's
just like
his
all
name?
the.
Zircon Jr.?
I think it's like Zircon Jr. or Zerky
Okay.
maybe.
Oh God.
But it's just so funny, all the different like voices and all the voice talent and stuff going into it, because it does have that more of like a kid show cartoony kind of feel to it. And I just love that they just go balls to the wall on the different voices and stuff that they want to have into this game. It just all these things just build and add to its charm and its appeal. And there's even like a battle arena place on one where you can get to uh, accomplish all these other objectives, like kill 25 of these enemies using only the shotgun kind of stuff. And those give you some extra bolts and different things like that. What you can also collect this item called Raritanium, which is what you use to upgrade your weapons. Because although the weapon upgrades work with this kind of like hex system where you buy cells, and as you surround these golden cells by upgrading on it, you unlock the perk that those gold cells give you, like extra ammo, longer duration on like that freeze time effect and stuff like that. So, and each weapon can be upgraded to level 5, and as you upgrade more, that allows more branches of the upgrade tree for each weapon. And I mean, I completed the game, and I think I've only fully upgraded 2. I've got all weapons to level 5, but I haven't fully upgraded them in Ms. Zircon's shop yet. And so it's just lots of these side activities to do. There's also these things called pocket dimensions, which are like smaller hidden areas that once you go into, and they usually reward you with like a new set of armor at the end, because that was what's really fun. You can customize in this too, is you'll collect these armor pieces, but then you can go in and like change the colors. So you can outfit Ratchet and Rivet with really, really, really cool armor sets. So there's just tons of this fun. It's the typical platformer fare in that regard. It's just like it's got this great, fantastic main story, and with engaging gameplay, engaging combat, and plenty of things that once you finish the main story, you still got a lot of collectibles to go after to 100% the game.
Was the Ratchet and Clank 2016 remake, was that one that you talked about when we did our platformers series?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
we
it
gotta
was.
do
I
that
forgot about that.
again. There
I
have been
know.
so many more platformers that have come out since then.
That's
And
true.
that just got me thinking, like, even if it is standard air quotes platformer fare, platformers are still one of the most fun genres of games.
Oh yeah, I'm not meaning like that as
I
like a
know that I
knock.
know that you didn't mean it that way at all. It's just I want to remind the other people,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
bruh, platformers are awesome. They're still
Yes.
awesome. They're still relevant. You should be playing them. They're great games.
Well, and I think too, like third person ones are especially like, when you think of platformer, like still what comes to my mind is like the 2D side scroll, like the Metroids, the old Super Mario Brothers, stuff like that. Like that's more what I think of. But like I love the third person ones because they do offer up a little bit more in terms of what you can do in like the action or the level design and things like that. And it just feels so good, especially having this like living, what really feels like a living world around you as you're going throughout the game. And it just keeps getting better. And like I said, like I think I had the whole time I was playing this just this dumb smile on my face because it's just so fun to do everything in it. There was never a dull moment at all. And of course, it was also had a fantastic score that was composed by Mark Mothersbaugh, who does a lot of movies. He actually, one of my favorite soundtracks that he's done is that he did the soundtrack for Thor Ragnarok, which is like had a huge like
Oh,
80s synth vibe to it.
yeah.
Super good. And so it auto corrected the name. Wataru Hokoyama was also the other composer on the game as well.
Gotcha.
But like I said, it just checks all the boxes for what makes a great game. Incredible level design, incredible visuals, incredibly good combat, a great assortment of weapons for you to fight. I will say the enemies and like some bosses kind of like you hit all of them throughout the game, and then near the end you're like, I'm fighting the same people again, but not like it's not so often that you're just like, this is getting repetitive, because all there are obviously like good twists thrown in to keep it light.
I
But it's
see.
like you get all these weapons, and then there are a lot of enemies and stuff, but they all kind of stay with the main thing. Although the final boss fights and everything like that were spectacular. So I'm not even saying that as like a knock. It's like they stayed well within their bounds and didn't try to do too much, basically, is what I'm
I
saying,
see.
with like the enemies and different enemy design there. And honestly, so I've talked a lot about the pros. Okay, so here's my cons. What cons? What
What?
cons? Like honestly, like I'm trying, like I'm
What?
honestly like
I'm blown away. You've stunned me, Jerrett. What cons?
I'm like honestly trying to like, I was like picking my brain. So like I said, I finished it last night. I was picking my brain of, okay, what didn't I not like?
So
And like there,
you mentioned before, I'm not actually sure if you said this during recording or
sure.
not, but you mentioned that you're pretty sure the game is probably like 12 to 15 hours
Yeah, I
long,
think so.
around
No,
that,
maybe not even 12. I mean, yeah, if
maybe
you go
not even
full
12.
completionist,
Oh,
I
okay.
think like, yeah, yes.
Do you think that that is too short, or did you feel like that was the appropriate amount of time for the game?
Oh, it was the appropriate amount of time.
Oh,
Like
okay,
I,
got
I like it was good because like I could go in, and when I was playing it, I would play like two, maybe three levels at a time as I was going through. And it got like, it felt like the pacing of it was great. I never was like,
nice.
okay, I'm really ready for this to wrap up. Um, Obviously, like, was I ready for it to be done? No, which is great that I still have so many side activities. My buddy Michael is actually playing it too, and we were talking about it the other night, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm almost done. I think I'm like at 80% completion." I was like, "Oh, and we figured out like we were about the right place." It's like, "Oh, I'm only like 60% completion." Like
Oh,
he was
wow.
going around like doing all a lot side things as he was coming to them. I
Yeah,
was like, "I'm going through. I'm going to do a few, but like I want to save that for after that, have that full exploration,
gotcha.
because this is one of the games too. Like it has 47 trophies, I think, but
Ooh.
I finished the game with 35 of them popped. So like
Jarrett.
it's very easy. Like it's a definite platinum for
Oh,
sure.
okay, gotcha.
Like I'm not saying that is bad. Like it's, you pop a lot of the things as you just go on through the game itself. And so it's definitely one that like if you're not a serious trophy hunter, like I would say hunt the trophies, get the platinum, because it's not much after you finish the game itself, much left. But I will say I think the only thing that did come up that I was like, this is frustrating, is sometimes in the very heat of battle, when I'm like swapping weapons left and right, I'm like using my blast pistol, switching to a topiary sprinkler, throwing that out, then immediately switching to something else. When I was like really just cycling through weapons, a couple times it would kind of get stuck on one. Like I
Oh,
would switch
okay.
to a weapon, go to fire it, and it was using the same weapon I was using before. I would pull up the window again, being like, "Oh, maybe I didn't select it right." It's showing the weapon I wanted selected, but it was still firing the last weapon I was using.
I
So
see,
that would
okay.
use just like a thing of like, you just let it sit for like a second and not try to switch the weapons again, and then do it again, and it was fine. So not even like a huge thing. It's not like it caused me to die 50 million times throughout the game. It was just the one thing I think that popped up as kind of like
Could have been
something
better.
that could
Yeah,
have been better.
something that could
Uh,
have been fixed, arguably, that just sounds like a
yes,
bug.
exactly. And so, but again, Did that kill my enjoyment of this game? Absolutely not, because it was just a fantastic ride from start to finish. So, I mean, honestly, if you are a fan of platforming games, if you're a fan of Ratchet and Clank, you should definitely play the game. If you're not familiar with the Ratchet and Clank at all, you should definitely play the game because it's just one of those games that I don't see how you could play it and not enjoy. Ooh, Finder's dreaming.
So wait, let me see. Can I see him?
I don't know if you can see him. Oh, there.
Oh my god, look at him. Look at him. What a good
Can you hear,
boy.
can you
Yes.
hear him?
I
But anyway,
heard him make a little boof. That was so cute.
he has big old dreams.
Good
But
boy.
it was really just like it's just a fantastic game. Like, I don't know, Insomniac's knocking it out of the park. I haven't
Yeah.
played, the Spider-Man game yet or Spider-Man Miles Morales, but just I know I saw the feedback that all of those games got and how good they are in visual quality and everything like that. And that's the cool thing that came out too around the time that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was released, is that Insomniac was like, oh yeah, we did this no crunch whatsoever. We released Miles Morales and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, no crunch. And they did it within a few months of each other. Like, Miles Morales came out at launch of PS5, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And then here's Rift Apart coming out not, 6-7 months later. No, two massive games like that, incredible games, no crunch. Well done, Insomniac.
It's almost like good project management.
Yeah.
Leads to reasonable timelines and work required to meet those timelines. Crazy, right?
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, I mean, I could just sit and sing the praises of Ratchet and Clank all day because it was just one of those things. It just felt so good while you're playing it that you don't want to stop playing it. And it's just such a showcase and just like a baseline now, like of what games can be and what games can do. And so it was just a blast. It's like, I obviously knew it was going to be fun. I knew I was going to have a good time playing it. But even then, I was still blown away with how good it was and how much fun I had.
It's a full price game, isn't it? On PS5, it's
Yes.
$70.
$69.99.
Oh
so,
my!
Which I will say, when I bought it, we've obviously talked before about price and stuff. And it's like, yes, at some point the price of games has to go up because the, development times, you can't be just stuck at the same base price forever. But I will say I felt it when I bought that and they were like, that's $75. I was like,
yeah, that's a lot.
It felt heavy to buy for that price tag, but still obviously well worth it.
Yeah,
like,
I get it.
I'm not here to like talk about like, oh no, I only got 12 hours. That wasn't worth $70 of my time. No, absolutely not. In fact, I bought the game and I played the first couple levels and then it said, do you want to upgrade? And then in the game hub, not in the game itself, but in the hub of the Ratchet and Clank game on the PS5, it was like, hey, you can upgrade to the deluxe edition that gives you like extra armor sets and the soundtrack for like $10 more. And I was like, you got me.
Yeah,
I did.
You done got me.
You got me. So, because I was like, absolutely, I'll listen to the soundtrack. And it was just really, I was like, yeah, you make a quality game, I'm going to want to throw more money on it. You know what I mean?
I mean, and that's a good point, is that when people want to support your product and they think you made a good game, value is determined by the player. And that's a great example of that.
And there's also parts of the game, and this is another thing I wanted to mention, not as necessarily as a thing of the game's feature, but a feature of the PS5 that I hadn't really used yet. And that, remember when it shows off when we were talking about like the PS5 when it was first announced and like they were really going through its features, we talked about the ability to like look at hints in the PS5.
Yes. I do remember that.
There were a couple of points in this where I will admit, there were some puzzles that I was just like, what the hell am I doing here? Like, I thought I had tried, I just got stuck. And I was like, you know what? I know this is a feature. I want to try it out. So I tried out that hints. Mogan, it is so nice. And you were worried. I know that you had said that you were worried about like it potentially revealing spoilers and everything like that. It totally doesn't. Like, you pull up the hub, you like hit the start button and it pulls it up and it shows like these cards that have the activities that you're currently doing. Like, say like you're on a planet and it says, here's your percentage for spy bots that you're trying to find, or golden bolts and stuff like that. But in this specific area where you're playing as Clank and trying to solve these puzzles, and I just was lost. And so you open it up, it says like, hey, it has a card for the section. It says hints available. Clicked it. and it showed the part where I was automatically at that part that I was at. And I just like played a little video and it shows a playthrough of it. And I got to the part where, oh, Solo, what are you doing there, kitty?
He's being a noisy little brat.
I'm not hearing him at all. He's being fine.
No, he's being very loud. You just can't hear him. Good kitty.
But yeah, I was just able to watch a quick video that got me unstuck, and just be able to jump right back into the game. It was so nice not having to like go and search it. And then, which I feel like potentially shows more spoilers than what you would want. Yeah. This was a very curated system. And I was just like, oh, this is cool to finally get to use this PS5 feature that I hadn't really used before. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, because I was worried about that. I actually totally forgot that was a feature.
I honestly did too. And then I was like, oh wait, I have these. I can use this. And so it was really fun to get, like, just another thing. I was like, oh, that's a nice little thing for when I just get fully stuck on something. I could just have the resource right there available to me. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a fantastic game. Highly recommend. Like I said, really nothing wrong with it of any substance, really. Yeah, it's just
the most minor bugs.
Exactly. And so it was just a fantastic all-around experience. I would say people need to play this one as soon as you can get your hands on it. And so I bought the physical version too. So whenever you get your PS5 and all that, I'll just let you borrow
it.
Yeah, and jump right in, because it's so worth it.
Is borrowing the oldest form of game pirating?
I wouldn't necessarily call it pirating.
I'm just kidding. We're not. I just wanted to pose a not really philosophical question and be like, is it though?
Because it's not like I'm playing it at the same time. You have my disc.
True.
I can't
That's a
play
good point.
It. So, but no, play Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, everybody. Fantastic game. 10 out of 10. Honestly, like, it's great. It was a fantastic game.
Incredible. You heard it here first. Well, probably not first, but a 10 out of 10.
I know. I'm sure other people have already said it was a masterpiece. It's not like I'm hitting you with the new opinion of this game.
What if all of the other reviews were like 4 out of 10, and then you were the one person going 10 out of 10?
Listen to me. Really I'm the true voice. I know what's up.
These other people were bought off by the competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Just shills for it. They don't.
Yeah, shills.
They don't know. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up my review of it. So, like I said, didn't want to jump into the story. It's a fantastic story. It's a fun story. But you should experience that for yourself. But as far as the mechanics and everything, God, it was just a great time.
Well, I can't wait to someday play it in 3 years when PlayStation 5s are finally readily available on the shelves.
Hopefully your time will come soon. I hope. I feel it.
I don't. But okay, I like the confidence.
Well, you can then come over and play it on mine, because, open up a new save for you and all that stuff. But yeah, with that, everybody, I hope if you have played Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart and have your thoughts on it as well, we'd love to hear it. So you can send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com, or follow us, or jump over on our Discord server and talk about it with us there. Comment on our social media or wherever you're listening to or watching the podcast. Because, yeah, we'd love to hear from you and hear your great thoughts on these games as well. But until next time, everybody, that wraps up this episode of Team Chat Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jerrett Wilson, joined across the power of the internet by my co-host, Rachel Mogan.
Adios.
We'll see you all next time.